Please subscribe, and you can download this code from description below. Title: Best Practices for Representing Floating Infinity in Python 3.x. Introduction. Floating infinity is a mathematical concept that represents an unbounded value in the positive or negative direction. In Python, representing infinity can be useful in various numerical computations. This tutorial will guide you through the best practices for representing floating infinity in Python 3.x, along with code examples. Method 1, using float, inf, and float, inf. Python provides the float function with the strings inf and inf to represent positive and negative infinity, respectively. This method is straightforward and widely accepted. Method 2, using math.inf from the math module. Starting from Python 3.5, the math module introduced the inf constant for positive infinity. This method is more explicit and can improve code readability. Method 3, numpy's np.inf. If you are working with NumPy for scientific computing, you can use np.inf from the NumPy library. This is especially useful when dealing with arrays and matrices. Comparison of methods. All three methods are valid, but the choice depends on the context of your code and any additional libraries you might be using. The float, inf, method is standard and works in most scenarios. If you are working with the math module or NumPy, using math.inf or np.inf can be more idiomatic and enhance code readability. Conclusion. Representing floating infinity in Python 3.x is essential for various numerical computations. Whether you choose float, inf, math.inf, or np.inf depends on your specific use case. Choose the method that aligns with your coding style and the libraries you are working with. Always ensure clarity and readability in your code for the benefit of yourself and others who may read and maintain it. ChatGPT. Title: Best Practices for Representing Floating Infinity in Python 3.x. Introduction. In Python, representing floating point infinity is a common need, especially in mathematical and scientific computations. Infinity is used to denote values that are unbounded or undefined. This tutorial will guide you through the best practices for representing floating point infinity in Python 3.x, along with code examples. Python provides a built-in float function that allows you to create positive and negative infinity explicitly. The math module in Python also provides constants for positive and negative infinity. You can use the math.inf function to check if a given value is positive or negative infinity. Performing mathematical operations with infinity can be useful. Here's an example. Remember that operations like dividing by 0 or multiplying 0 by infinity will result in nan, not a number. If you are working with arrays and matrices, NumPy provides efficient ways to handle infinity. Conclusion. Representing floating point infinity in Python is straightforward using built-in functions and constants. Whether you're dealing with single values or arrays, understanding these best practices will help you handle infinity appropriately in your Python 3.x programs. ChatGPT.